Listen to Learn podcast.
Welcome to part 2 of the ultimate beginner's guide to asking for price and size. And welcome back to Listen to Learn podcast. In part 1, we built the foundation of asking about prices in English. We explored the most common singular price questions and learned how distance can change the way we ask about an item's price. Now it's time to move beyond the basics. How do you naturally ask about the prices of several items naturally? What if you're comparing products instead of asking about just one item? How do you understand spoken prices and numbers with confidence? Store employees often speak quickly, so you'll learn how to catch prices, quantities, and common number patterns more clearly. How do you talk about clothing sizes like a confident shopper? You'll learn practical English for asking about sizes, checking availability, and responding naturally in stores. By the end of this episode, you'll be able to handle more realistic shopping conversations with greater confidence and ease. So grab your headphones, relax, and let's continue your journey toward confident English communication. Let's get started. Module 3. The language of plural price questions. Welcome to our third module. Now that we have completely mastered singular objects, we must turn our attention to plural objects. In English, when you change from talking about one item to talking about two or more items, the rules of grammar require you to change your words to match. If you are buying a bag of fresh apples, a pair of shoes, a pair of jeans, or 3 separate postcards, you can no longer use the words is, this, or that. Let us start with multiple items that are close to you, perhaps items you are carrying in your arms or looking at closely on a table right in front of you. Instead of the singular word this, we must use the plural word these. And instead of the singular verb is, we must use the plural verb are. Therefore, the fundamental question for multiple nearby items is, how much are these? Let us say that phrase together. How much are these? Listen to the way the sounds connect smoothly. How much are these? If you want to name the item specifically, you place the plural noun at the very end of the sentence. Let us look at some practical everyday examples. How much are these t-shirts? How much are these books? How much are these apples? How much are these local postcards? Now, let us highlight a crucial rule in English that often trips up beginners. There are several everyday items of clothing that are always treated as plural in English grammar, even if you are looking at just one single physical piece. This is because the items are made of 2 parts or designed for 2 legs. These items include jeans, trousers, pants, shorts, sweatpants, sunglasses, reading glasses, and shoes. Because these words are permanently plural, you must always use the plural question structure. You can never say, how much is this jeans? That is an incorrect structure. You must say, how much are these jeans? Let us practice these essential clothing items. How much are these sunglasses? How much are these black trousers? How much are these leather shoes? How much are these denim shorts? Now, let us adapt our alternative active verb structure for plural items. For singular items, we used, does this cost? For plural items, we must change the helping verb does to do, and we must change this to these. The question becomes, how much do these cost? Let us listen to that variation. How much do these cost? Let us add plural nouns to this format. How much do these running shoes cost? How much do these headphones cost? How much do these warm gloves cost? What if the multiple items are located far away from you, perhaps on a shelf across the store aisle? In this situation, you must switch your vocabulary from these to the word those. The questions instantly transform into, how much are those? How much do those cost? Let us practice these distant plural sentences with specific items. Excuse me, how much are those boots on the top shelf? Excuse me, how much are those leather bags? Excuse me, how much do those digital cameras cost? Excuse me, how much do those paintings over there cost? Let us review the 4 foundational plural formulas so they become permanent in your memory. Excuse me, how much are these? Excuse me, how much do these cost? Excuse me, how much are those? Excuse me, how much do those cost? By understanding this clear line between singular and plural structures, you will completely avoid the most common grammar mistakes made by beginners in retail environments. Module 4. Understanding spoken prices and numbers. Learning how to ask the question is an amazing step, but it is only half of the process. You must also be able to fully understand the answers that the shop assistant gives you. When an employee tells you a price, their sentence structure will usually match the grammar of your question. If you ask about a single item, they will start their sentence with "it is" or "that is." In daily conversation, native speakers almost always compress these words into short contractions, "it's" or "that's." Listen to how a singular answer sounds. It's $10. That's 15 pounds. It is 20 euros. If you asked about multiple items, such as a pair of shoes or a collection of shirts, they will start their answer with "they are" or "those are." In spoken English, "they are" is shortened into a single smooth sound, "there." Listen to how a plural answer sounds. They're $40. Those are 50 pounds. They are 80 euros. However, prices in real life are rarely clean, round numbers like 10 or 20. They almost always include decimals, which represent cents, pence, or minor coins. It is vital to know how native speakers actually speak these decimal prices in a busy store because they rarely use the long textbook formatting. For example, if an item costs $5.50, a traditional textbook might tell you the assistant will say, "It is $5.50. But in reality, a native speaker will completely drop the words dollars and cents to speak as fast as possible. They will simply say 2 numbers right next to each other. 550. Let us hear that natural sound. 550. If a shirt costs $19.99, $19.99, the employee will simply say $19.99. Let us listen to several examples of this common number format so your ears get completely used to the sound. $3.25 is spoken as $3.25. $12.40 is spoken as $12.40. $45.50 is spoken as $45.50. $99.95 is spoken as $99.95. If a price is under $1 full or $1 full pound, such as 75 cents, $0.75, they will usually say the number followed by the coin name, 75 cents, or 80 pence. For a large even number like $150, they will say $150, or casually, 150. Sometimes a store is incredibly noisy, or the assistant speaks with an unfamiliar accent, or they talk way too fast for a beginner to follow. If you do not completely catch the numbers they say, do not feel embarrassed and do not just nod your head blindly. It is completely normal to ask for clarification. You can use these simple, polite phrases to ask them to repeat the price. "Sorry, could you repeat that, please? Could you say that again slowly, please? How much was that, sorry?" You can also repeat the number you think you heard back to them to double check. For instance, if you are not sure if they said 14 or 40, you can say, "Did you say $14? The employee will then confirm by saying, "Yes, 14, 1-4. Or they will correct it by saying, No, 40, 40. This simple confirmation technique is highly practical and will save you from making mistakes at the checkout. Module 5, the language of clothing sizes. Now let us leave the topic of money behind and step into our next massive module for this hour, mastering sizes. Finding an item with an attractive price is wonderful, but it means very little if the clothing does not fit your body comfortably. In almost every clothing store across the globe, sizes are categorized using standard letters. These basic categories are S, small, M, medium, L, large, XL, extra large, X, XL, extra, extra large. When you are walking through the clothing racks and you find a beautiful t-shirt or a jacket, but the specific item hanging on the rack is a size small and you know you need a size large, you must ask the staff if they have your size available in their stock. The absolute best sentence structure for this request is, "Do you have this in a," followed by your size. Let us listen to how this sounds for the primary categories. Do you have this in a small? Do you have this in a medium? Do you have this in a large? Do you have this in an extra large? Notice a very small but critical grammar rule here. For small, medium, and large, we use the word a. We say in a small, in a medium, in a large. But because the word extra starts with a vowel sound, we must change a to an. We say in an extra large. Let us practice saying those questions smoothly. Do you have this in a small? Do you have this in a medium? Do you have this in a large? Do you have this in an extra large? Remember our plural rule from earlier. If you are asking about an item that is inherently plural, like jeans, trousers, or shorts, you must change the word this to these. Let us hear how the plural size questions sound. Do you have these jeans in a small? Do you have these trousers in a medium? Do you have these shorts in a large? Another fantastic way to ask for a size adjustment when you are not completely sure about the exact category is to use comparative words like smaller or larger. If you look at a garment and it looks visually huge, you can ask the employee, "Do you have this in a smaller size?" Let us say that together. Do you have this in a smaller size? If you look at a sweater and it looks incredibly tiny, you can ask, "Do you have this in a larger size?" Let us say that together. Do you have this in a larger size? You can also use the word bigger instead of larger. They mean the exact same thing. Saying, "Do you have this in a bigger size?" is highly conversational and completely acceptable. Let us now learn how to combine both size and color into a single sentence. This is an excellent skill because it makes you sound incredibly fluent and saves a lot of time. Imagine you see a red sweater in a small size, but you want to know if they have a blue sweater in a medium size. You can place all of this information into one clear question. You can say, "Excuse me, do you have this sweater in a medium, in blue?" Or you can say, "Do you have this in black, size small?" Let us hear a few more variations of this combined format. Do you have this jacket in a large, in blue? Do you have this sweater in a small, in gray? Do you have these trousers in a medium, in dark brown? This structure gives the shop assistant all the details they need immediately so they can check their inventory efficiently. And that brings us to the end of Part 2 of the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Asking for Price and Size. Today, you've learned how to ask about the prices of multiple items, how to understand spoken prices and numbers more clearly, and how to talk about clothing sizes with confidence while shopping. At this point, you're no longer limited to asking simple questions. You're beginning to understand the language that real customers and store employees use every day. But there's still more to learn. Knowing the price and the size is important, but what happens when your size isn't available? How do you ask for alternatives, check availability, or continue a natural shopping conversation with confidence? In Part 3, we'll move beyond basic questions and explore more practical shopping situations that English learners often face in the real world. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and keep practicing your English every day. Thank you for joining the Listen to Learn podcast, and I'll see you in Part 3.
English Practice Insider. Fearless English, Powerful Future.